Welcome to your practice. Today our asana practice is really going to focus on this principle of progression, which we see throughout the Yoga Sutra. And the idea of progression that I want to share with you today is going to be highlighted by how we will progress to Warrior Two. So from a sequencing perspective, you can look at this asana class as a peak pose sequence leading towards Warrior Two, and we will progressively make our way up to Warrior Two as our peak posture throughout class. This idea of progression not only is foundational to the Yoga Sutra and how the Yoga Sutra is presented, but it's foundational to our life, that everything in life is a progression, that we have to start where we are, acknowledge where we are, accept where we are, and build from there, and take it step by step. One baby step at a time sometimes. If we can approach all of our life in this way, we can avoid and prevent a lot of undue suffering because we're better able to manage our expectations and acknowledge the reality of our situation in any given moment. So let's start today in a seated position for our class. Whatever is a comfortable seat for you, letting your hands rest somewhere on your lap. Find a nice tall spine and feel connected to the ground underneath your sit bones. Take a moment to notice your breath. Expanding on your inhales, feeling a sense of release on your exhales. On your inhales, see if you can feel that expansion move from the lowest part of your belly into the side ribs, all the way into the back body. Take one more deep breath in here. And a full breath out. Now release your arms down by your side, moving with your breath. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead, perhaps bringing the palms of the hands together to touch. Exhale, release the hands back down to the ground, bringing the pads of the fingers to touch the mat. Again, inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, float the arms down to the ground. And one more time, inhale, let the arms float up overhead. And this time as you exhale, let the hands stop at shoulder height. So the arms are out to your side at shoulder height. Feel a softness in your shoulders if possible. And now we'll work on the rotation of our shoulders. So as you inhale, turn the palms to face up towards the ceiling and feel that rotation happening from the shoulder joints. Exhale, turn the palms to face back down to the ground. Do that 2 more times with the breath. Inhale, open the palms to the ceiling. Exhale, turn the palms down to the ground. And one more time, inhale, open the palms up. And exhale, rotate the arms back down. Now keep the hands here out at shoulder height. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, gaze out over your right fingertips. Working into the neck here. Inhale, back to center, and exhale, gaze over to the left. Maintain a softness in your shoulders if possible. Come back to center one more time. Inhale and gaze over the right fingertips. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, gaze to the left. Exhale, back to center. Now take a deep breath in. As you exhale, release the hands down, interlace the fingertips behind you, draw the fists down as you open across the chest, but keep the rib cage tucked in. So rather than let the rib cage splay out, feel the top ribs moving down toward the bottom ribs, and take a breath in here and a breath out. A really nice way to open up the shoulders, the neck. Release the hands, take a couple shoulder rolls back. Really feeling the shoulder blades on the back of the body getting involved. And then switch directions. Inhale, pull the shoulders up. Exhale, release the shoulders down. And then come back to a comfortable seat. Take a breath in. And a breath out, perhaps feeling a little bit more alive in the upper body and the shoulders here. That's a really great way for us to prepare for Warrior Two later on in class. Come onto your hands and your knees in a tabletop position. And begin some cat-cows here. As you inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest. As you exhale, round your spine. Moving with the breath, keeping that smooth rhythm. And adding in, of course, any organic movement that feels nice for you and your body as you say hello to your spine, your shoulders, your hips, your core. Couple more rounds here. And then come back to your neutral tabletop position for thread the needle. Reach your right arm up towards the ceiling, gaze up. Sweep the right arm underneath the left arm, rest the right shoulder on the ground, and extend your left arm long here. Take a breath in and a breath out. Again, breath in and breath out. Now place the left palm back underneath the shoulder. Inhale, reach the right arm back up, gaze up overhead. And place the right hand down. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Inhale, open the left arm up. And thread the needle, sweep the arm underneath. Try to keep the hips as level as possible as you extend your right arm out in front of you and breathe into the sides of your body and the back of your body. Replace the right hand underneath the right shoulder. Inhale, lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, place the hand down to the ground. Shift your hips back to your heels. Child's pose, taking your knees a little bit wider. Rest your forehead down on the mat. And breathe. One more inhale here. Exhale. Come back up into your tabletop position. And then make your way back into downward facing dog. Reach down through your heels. You can pedal out your dog here if you like. Spread the fingers wide, press firmly through the hands so you feel some lengthening through the sides of the arms. Keep the head and the neck relaxed. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now gaze forward in between your hands. Walk your feet to the top of your mat for a forward fold. Maybe keep a little bit of space in between the feet. Bend your knees if you need. Relax the head and the neck. You can interlace the hands at opposite elbows if you like. Let your torso sway here and fall over the thighs. So in our Warrior Two, we've got deep hip flexion in the front leg and some hip extension in the back leg. So we'll be looking to introduce our body to these movements in our preparatory poses before we move into our Warrior Two. If you want to work into the shoulders a little more, you're welcome to interlace the hands behind you, reach your arms overhead. And then exhale, release your hands down to the ground. Step your left foot back behind you, lower the knee down to the ground. You're welcome to roll up the side of the mat to pad up your knee if you need it. And then come into a crescent moon. So all the way into the right foot, reach the arms overhead. And if you need to break this down into a progression, you start with a couple breaths, hands on the ground. Maybe you take the hands up onto the thighs. And this is really nice actually to help you shift the weight forward into that front foot and emphasize the sensation in the back hip. Eventually maybe you reach the arms overhead to open up through the side bodies and into the chest. And then take a deep breath in from the belly all the way up into the heart. And as you exhale, release the hands down to the ground. Step back, downward facing dog. Reach down through both heels as you send the hips high. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Gaze forward in between your hands. Walk your feet to the top of the mat. On your inhale, come into a halfway lift as you lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold back down, and this time step the left foot back behind you, lower the knee down to the ground, and again you can move into your crescent moon in a progression. Maybe take a breath in here as you lengthen the spine forward. Bring the hands to the thighs as you shift the weight forward and work into the hip flexor on the back leg. This is where we're in that hip extension and introducing our body to the extension that the back leg in Warrior Two needs. Eventually reaching the arms up overhead, keeping some softness in the shoulders so we're not reaching up and out of the shoulder sockets. Deep breath in. And exhale, release the hands down to the ground. Step back into your downward facing dog. Send the sit bones high as you find some length through the spine. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now inhale, reach your right leg high to the ceiling. Low lunge, step the foot forward in between your hands. Spin your back foot down. Rise up into Warrior One. So now we've got that extension in the back leg again. We're also finding a little bit of internal rotation as we bring the left hip forward, sink low into our front leg, and here in this front leg we basically have our Warrior Two with the exception of the external rotation of the hip. This is setting our foundation and helping us to focus on where our body is in any given moment. Take a deep breath in. Now on your exhale, release your hands to your hips. Straighten your right leg and step your back foot forward to shorten your stance. Press down through your feet as you lift up through your heart. With the hands on the hips and a long spine, slowly fold over your front leg into pyramid. You can release your hands to the ground, to blocks, or even rest your hands on your leg. See if you can bring your forehead down towards your knee or your shin. Now we work into the hamstring. Continue to press into the outer edge of your back foot as you draw your hip forward and breathe. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Bend into your front knee as you place your hands down on the ground. Step your back foot a few inches behind you so you're back in a lunge, and then lower your back knee down to the ground. Step your front foot back into a tabletop position and rise up to stack your shoulders over your hips. I'm going to turn to face you here for this next sequence. You can turn on your mat as well, or you can stay facing forward, whichever you prefer. We're going to move into a gait variation here. So I want you to take your left leg out to the side. I'll mirror you here. So left leg out to the side with the foot in line with the knee, and then bring your right hand down to the ground. You can keep your left hand on your left hip if you like, and slowly start to lift your left leg up towards the ceiling. I want you to engage the muscles on the outer hip here and see if you can take tiny little pulses. So pulsing the heel up towards the ceiling, find a little bit of internal rotation from this top hip so that the toes start to point slightly downward. And we're pulsing by utilizing the muscles in the outer hip. Strong muscles in these outer hips will help us in our hip rotation, which will help us when we need to get external rotation in our Warrior Two. You're always welcome to use a block underneath your hand if you need it. Okay, from here, we'll take a quadricep stretch. So bend your knee, reach back behind you, grab hold of your foot if you can. Try and pull the heel in towards your glutes, and then start to kick the leg back to bring this top leg into extension. At the same time, I want you to draw the tailbone down to keep some length in your lower back. Take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. This is really prepping our hips for our Warrior Two later on in class. Slowly extend your left leg back out in front of you. Step it down to the ground. Now inhale, reach the left arm up. As you press down through the left foot, lift up and over through the left fingertips. And that should feel really nice
A lot of sensation along the left side of the body here. Rotate the chest open towards the ceiling. Take a breath in and a breath out. Really engage your core here. On your inhale, rise all the way back up to a kneeling position. Lower this bottom knee down to the ground, and let's try it out on the other side. So now, your right leg is going to come out to the side. Line up the foot in line with the knee. Take the left hand down to the ground. And bring weight into that left hand as you hover this top leg, the right leg here. You might already, just by hovering, start to feel these outer hip muscles, some gluteus medius, some TFL, tensor fascia lata engaging. See if you can really contract those muscles. This is subtle work here to find these little pulses as you turn the toes down and find a little bit of internal rotation in the hip. If it's helpful, you're always welcome to keep your hand on your hip here, and don't forget to breathe. Accepting, again, where you are in any given situation and allowing yourself to progress through these exercises gradually. Know that you are wherever you need to be. We can't be perfect, and in fact, our goal is never perfection. It's simply to notice where we are and then act however is most appropriate for us in any given moment. All right, let's take that quadricep stretch. Reach back, grab hold of the heel, pull the heel into the glute as best you can, draw the tailbone down to keep length in your lower back, and feel the sensation building across the front of your thigh and your quadriceps. Core is still engaged to keep us supported here. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Extend this leg back out. Lower the foot down to the ground. Really press down into the foot as you reach the right arm up and overhead, finding that sensation across the entire right side of the body. Continue to draw the tailbone down so you keep length in the lower back. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now use your core. Inhale, bring yourself all the way back up. Lower the knee down to the ground. From here, we're going to go straight into a puppy dog. So I'll turn back around onto my mat, start in your tabletop position with your hips stacked over your knees. Slowly walk your hands out in front of you as you drop your chest down to the ground. Relax your forehead, your chin on the ground or a block. And really breathe into the sides of your body here. Big breath in. Big breath out. Slowly walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Curl the toes under, make your way back into downward facing dog. Send the hips high, reach down through the heels, and maybe your hips feel a little bit more alive right now. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now we'll cap all of this sequence off with where we began, but on the other side. So lift the left heel up towards the ceiling, low lunge, step the foot forward in between your hands, rise up into your warrior one, reach the arms overhead, rotate your back hip forward as you lunge low into your front leg, soften through the shoulders here, and feel strong in your legs. Consider the possibility of how just doing some targeted work with your hips can help you open up and find so much more strength and stability in a posture like warrior one or warrior two. Bring your hands down to your hips, straighten your left leg, shorten your stance, press down through your feet as you lift up through your chest, and with a long spine, fold forward over your front leg, pyramid. You can relax your hands to the ground or to your legs. Try and release your forehead toward your leg. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Put a little bend into your front leg, plant the hands, and step right back into downward facing dog. Find your breath again. Inhale, gaze forward in between your hands. And walk your feet to the top of your mat for a forward fold. Inhale, rise up into halfway lift, and exhale, fold back down. Come all the way up to stand, reach your arms overhead, then bring your hands together at heart center and step out to your side so you've got a nice wide stance here. On your inhale, reach your arms up overhead. As you exhale, long spine, fold forward, grabbing hold of the outside edges of the feet. So here we have some abduction in the hips. This fold, you might feel some sensation in the inner thighs, those adductor muscles. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Good, now slowly start to walk the feet in, maybe just a little bit closer, with the heels continuing to turn in and the toes pointing out. Sit your hips low into a yogi squat. Hands together at heart center. You can use your elbows to draw the hips back as you lift up tall through the chest. Take a breath in and a breath out. Know that if you have blocks and you need them, you can always sit on a block for extra support underneath your sit bones. Now from here, we're slowly going to sit down to the ground. So with control, you can bring your hands to the ground if you need. I'm going to shift the weight back and sit down depending on how far your hips are off the ground. It might take a little bit more coordination, a little bit more focus for you. Move as gracefully as you can. I'm going to turn myself back around to face towards the front of the mat and slowly lay down. One vertebra at a time. Keep the left leg long on the mat, hug the right knee into your chest, and take a half happy baby. Grab hold of the inside edge of the right foot. Place your left hand on your left hip. Bend your right knee as you draw that knee down towards the ground, and imagine that the sole of the right foot is pressing up against the ceiling. So you'll actually press into your hand as your hand presses down into your foot. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. One more breath in here. Now I want you to hug your right knee back into your chest. We're going to sit all the way up. Before we do that, I want us to come into a little twist. So take your right knee across the body over to the left. Extend your right arm out. And allow this to progress gradually, even within the pose itself. Rather than pulling your body into a full expression of any posture, go slow, ease your way in. Slow and steady wins the race, right? Even though there is no race and we don't need to win at anything in yoga. The principle still applies. All right, inhale, bring the right knee back up. Now we're going to sit all the way up. As you pull the knee in, I'm going to slowly rock yourself up and place the sole of your right foot down on the mat about a fist distance in between the foot and the thigh. On your inhale, reach your arms overhead to lengthen through the side body. Keep the right sit bone down on the ground, even as you lift the arms up, and fold forward, grabbing hold of whatever you can reach, maybe your toes, your calf, your ankle. Finding a little bit of a fold here. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now inhale, rise up. I want you to step your right foot out to your knee. Pull your left foot in, so the soles of your feet are on the ground. Take your hands back behind you, fingertips point forward. Press down through the feet as you inhale, rise up into reverse tabletop. Deep breath in, use your glutes to help you lift the hips high. Press down through the hands. As you exhale, you'll slowly lower the hips down to the ground, then press your feet into the mat, press your hands into the mat, and slide your hips back in between your hands here, so that you're sitting all the way up with your hands by the sides of your hips. Now, your left hand is going to rest on the outside of the hip, And I want you to roll over on your side here, coming into a modified side plank position. So now you're resting on the outer left leg. The left fingertips are pointing towards the back edge of your mat. Press the hand into the ground as you rotate the shoulder outward, and you might experience a lot of sensation along the side of the body here. You could also do this with your forearm on the ground if it's too much sensation to have the palm of the hand on the ground. And your core needs to be working here to balance the hips one on top of the other. Maybe reach the other hand out in front of you. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. This is a really nice side stretch. Okay, you really need to stay connected to your core for this next transition. We're moving from this shape into a cobra. So you will slowly bring your top hand, in this case, this is my right hand, down to the ground, keeping the core really strong and supported. I'm going to roll over onto the tops of the thighs. You can bend the elbows and bring yourself lower to the ground if that's what your low back needs. And then press yourself back up into a cobra, lifting as high as it feels comfortable in your low back. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Press into the hands, lift the hips up, and send your hips back into child's pose. Maybe the knees are a little bit closer together here. Rest the forehead down on the ground. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. See if you can breathe into the low back here. One more big breath in. Big breath out. Now rise up into tabletop. Make your way back into downward facing dog. Send the sit bones high, reach down through the heels. Gaze forward in between your hands and walk your feet to your hands in a forward fold. Inhale, rise up into halfway lift. Exhale, fold back down, press through your feet, come all the way up to stand, bringing your hands together at heart center. Hands come to the hips, take a big step back, so we're back into our wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. This time, interlace the hands behind you at your low back. Draw the tailbone down as you lift up through the chest. Keep the spine long as you fold forward, reaching the arms overhead. Let the head and the neck hang. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. So in each little sequence here, you can release your hands down to the ground. We progress slightly towards the movements that our body needs to be in the shape of Warrior Two. All right. From this wide-legged forward fold, slowly draw your heels in, toes out. Maybe shorten the stance. Sit the hips low into your yogi squat. Hands together at heart center. Lift the chest high. So as we open through the front of the body, we open through the heart, we open to possibility. Maybe some of the shapes are new to you here, or you're just not used to moving into these shapes in the same way or ever. That's okay. Keep the mind open. At the same time, accept where you are on your journey and make the customizations that you need to help you be where you need to be. And know that you can come back to this practice over and over again to progress. And your progression is going to be unique. It might not look like my progression, and that's okay. The actual end form or shape doesn't matter as much as your ability to be where you are in that shape, still opening up to the possibility of what can be as you slowly progress through each day, each moment, each week, month, year, decade. So much is possible if we allow ourselves to move slowly and with intention. From here, with focus, sit yourself down onto the ground. I'm going to turn back around to face the mat, the front of the mat, and slowly lower down one vertebra at a time. Now the right leg is going to stay long. I'll pull my left knee into the chest, keeping my right hand on top of my right hip. half happy baby, grab hold of the inside edge of your left foot as you pull the left knee to the outer left side of the body. Couple deep breaths here. Really breathing low into the belly. See if you can imagine the breath expanding into the front of your right thigh. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Hug the knee into the chest. And now, slowly roll on up to seated. You could use a little bit of momentum here as you hug the knee into the chest. And then pull yourself up as you place the left foot about a fist distance from the right thigh. Inhale, lengthen through the fingertips at the same time that you stay connected to the ground underneath the left sit bone. Fold forward and grab hold of the toes, the ankle, the calf. And as you do this, still draw the inner edge of the left leg towards the center of the body. You're hugging that left leg in, even though you might want to open it out a little bit to give you more space to fold forward. Big breath in. Big breath out. We forgot our twist. So we're going to get a little extra. Slowly lower yourself back down, one vertebra at a time. Hug the left knee into the chest, and then slowly guide the knee over to the right. Extend the left arm out to the side. Breathe into your back. And try not to force the leg here. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more. And then inhale back up to center. We get to practice this ascension one more time. Deep breath in, stay connected to the core. Roll yourself up, placing the sole of the foot on the ground. Now we are going to flip over to our side again. This time you will, we got to do our tabletop. So the feet come into or onto the ground, hands behind you, fingertips, they can face forward to the side or back, whichever feels most comfortable on your wrist. I like fingertips forward. Press the feet into the ground as you lift the hips up, squeeze the glutes, open across the chest, open the heart to possibility. Finding strength and groundedness that opens up to freedom. Now, as you exhale, lower the hip down, slide the hips back. We're going to go to the other side this time. So now the right hand comes behind you. Roll over onto the outer edge of the right hip. If you need to bend the elbow or come down onto the forearm, that's an option. And then really press down into the forearm or down into the palm as you rotate the shoulder outward and maybe lengthen through your left fingertips. Try to keep the hips stacked as best as possible. This side's a little bit more challenging for me. The core needs to stay engaged. Feel some sensation in the side body. Let yourself wobble. Maybe you bend the elbow a little bit. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now, keeping that engagement to the core, slowly walk your hands around. Turn onto the thighs. You can lower down by bending the elbows. Then repress into the hands. Lift the chest high into cobra, building some upper body strength there. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Child's pose. Send the hips back to the heels. Breathe into your low back. One more inhale here. And then exhale, downward facing dog, send the hips up and back. Reach down through the heels, feel length through the sit bones. Take a nice big breath in through the nose and a big sigh out through the mouth. Slowly walk the hands back to the feet, landing in a deep forward fold. Relax the head and the neck. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. Then exhale, fold back down. Rise all the way up to stand, reach the arms overhead, and bring the hands back down to heart center. Go ahead and turn yourself around so you're facing back towards the front of the mat here. Now inhale, reach the arms overhead, find a nice standing back bend. Exhale, fold, bring the hands down to the ground. Inhale, rise up into halfway lift. As you exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank, and pause in your high plank position, engaging with the core and the center of your body, finding that strength. With control, lower yourself all the way down onto your belly here. You can lower the knees down to the ground if you need to first, and then rest your forehead on the back of your hands. We're coming into a half frog next. So start with your left leg and pull the left knee about level with the hip. Try to line up the foot underneath the knee. Take a breath in and a breath out. So this is warrior two, basically right here, except you're lying down on your belly. The only thing that we need to add is a little abduction in the back leg. So this right leg that is straight on the ground, I want you to see if you can slide it more towards the right, and you're going to feel those outer hip muscles that we were working on gait. So you only have to go an inch or two to feel that. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And if you want, you can even add in the arms, bringing the arms out to the side, either resting on your chin or down on your forehead, or even gazing out over your left fingertips to approximate what warrior two looks like when you're lying on your belly. So if ever you feel like warrior two just isn't part of your practice, because for whatever reason you're not feeling super strong in your legs, you could almost find more of a restorative version of your warrior two on the floor. Take a breath in and a breath out. Slowly slide your right leg back to center. You can bring your hands back underneath your chin or your forehead. Slide your left leg back, and just for a moment, let the legs be long on the ground here. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let's try the other side. Send your right leg out, bend the knee about in line with the hip, the heel underneath the knee. Take a moment to get used to that in your body. Now, if you have a lot of trouble doing this because of your hips, that might also help you acknowledge where your hips are, and it might change how you're able to be in a warrior two standing as well, because all of our hips are different and we're all dealing with different hips, different issues in our hips. We have to acknowledge and accept what we've got, what we're working with, and then open up to the possibility of how, if we progress slowly over time, we can change our reality. If you want to try this warrior two version on your belly, slowly start to slide your left leg out. Again, just a couple inches, and you'll probably start to feel those outer hip muscles engage. You can add in the arms, maybe gazing out over the right fingertips, and take a couple breaths here. One side might feel different than the other side, and that's something to note as well. And as you rest here over time, at the end of your exhales, you might notice that you're able to release into these shapes a little bit further. One more deep inhale. Slowly bring the left leg back in, bring the hands back in, bring the right leg back in, and rest here for a moment, breathing into your low back. Engage the core, rise up into tabletop, and send the hips back to child's pose. One more big breath in. Big breath out. And then make your way back into downward facing dog. Send the hips high. Inhale, lift the right leg high to the ceiling. Now we're going to come into our warrior two as we are almost used to it. Spin the back foot down. Rise all the way up into your warrior two. Let the arms settle. Gaze out over the right fingertips. So you've got that external rotation happening at the hips. You've got the flexion here in the front leg, some abduction, maybe slight extension in this back leg. You've got the flexion at the knee. The arms are in their horizontal abduction. Your neck is in rotation. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And hopefully this feels strong and steady, but also easeful. The heart is open to the possibility of an enhanced experience of Warrior Two, based on all of that focus that you've put in the shapes that helped us prepare for being right here. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, release the hands down to the ground. Step right back into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg high to the ceiling. Low lunge, step the foot forward in between your hands. Spin your back foot down as you press down through the feet. Rise up into your warrior two. And this side might feel a little different. That's okay. Grow tall through the spine. Elevate through the heart at the same time that the shoulders relax. The neck relaxes. The jaw relaxes. Breathe. Be. One more inhale here. And exhale, release the hands down to the ground. Now instead of stepping back, I want you to step the back foot forward to the front of the mat. Fold. As you inhale, rise up into halfway lift. Exhale, fold back down. Now send the weight into the heels, sit the hips low, rise up into Utkatasana. So all that opening, we're going to close things up now. Wrap the left arm underneath the right and the left leg over the right leg for eagle. So now, after all that abduction, we counter it with the adduction. We hug the arms and the legs together. We come back to center. We open up. We come back to center. We open up. We come back to center. We open up to possibility. We integrate it into our life. We open up to more possibility. We integrate it into our life. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, release. Stand up tall for a moment in between sides. Open the heart. Then sit low into Utkatasana to set up for eagle. Right arm underneath the left. Right leg wraps over the left leg. If you wobble, if you fall out, that's okay. That's part of the progression. It's part of the path. It's allowed. We come right back into it. Find your gaze, your focus. Find your breath. Even though there's effort here, find some ease. Yoga is all about living in these paradoxes. One more deep breath in. And exhale, release the arms, release the legs, stand up tall, maybe a little standing back bend, and then a slight bend in the knees as you fold forward all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into high plank. Core is strong, with control. Lower yourself down onto the mat and take your arms out in front of you. Coming up into Superwoman here. Inhale, lift everything. Arms and legs, strengthen the spine. Keep the gaze down so the back of the neck stays long. One more big breath in. And exhale, lower down. You can release the arms down by your side. Gaze to your right. Maybe shake out the hips to release any tension that you're holding on to in the low back. Gaze in the opposite direction. Keep shaking. Keep breathing. Keep being just as you are. And then roll over onto your back. Preparing for a bridge. Place the soles of the feet on the ground. Press the feet down as you lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Option to interlace the hands underneath you as you draw the shoulder blades together. Take a deep breath in from the lowest part of the belly all the way up to the heart. One more. Release the arms, slowly lower down. Walk the feet to the outer edges of the mat and windshield wiper the knees side to side. So throughout class today, I've brought you back to some of the principles that we've talked about throughout this Yoga Sutra course. These ideas of focus, possibility. Hug the knees into your chest, give them a nice little squeeze, and then drop the knees over to your left. Take your arms out to the side. You can gaze in one direction if you like. Acceptance was another principle that we talked about. And then, of course, this idea of progression. We progressed slowly, breaking down the Warrior Two, so that there are lots of options to practice along the way towards a particular goal. And the goal in and of itself isn't so much the reward or the end of the practice. Inhale, bring the knees up to center, hug them into center to neutralize the spine. And then let the knees fall over to the other side. In this case, the goal, Warrior Two, it wasn't about how we could perfect the Warrior Two, it was how we could be in the Warrior Two. And by breaking it down and having these experiences along the way, it was informing how we then could show up when we got to the Warrior Two. So progression and practice is more about gathering information, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, so that as we move through life, we're better able to be ourselves. Inhale, bring the knees back up to center, hug the knees into your chest. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release into your final Shavasana, arms and legs long. And be. slowly start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Hug your knees into your chest. And roll over onto one side. Bring yourself up to a comfortable seat with your hands together at heart center. Sitting up tall through the spine. Take a final breath in through your nose. And a big sigh out through your mouth. The light and wisdom within me honors and acknowledges the light and wisdom within you. Namaste.